There is a moment, and if you have ever driven a truck on a real trail, you know exactly the moment I am talking about, where the pavement ends and the dirt begins and something inside your chest shifts. It is not a big dramatic thing. It is quiet. Almost invisible. But it is real, and it happens every single time without fail. The noise of the modern world, the notifications, the deadlines, the pressure of everything that is supposed to matter, all of it just falls away behind you like dust in a rearview mirror. And what is left is just you and the machine and whatever the mountain decides to throw at you next. That feeling is why people buy trucks. Not for hauling. Not for towing numbers on a spec sheet. For that feeling. For that exact moment when the road gets honest and the only thing that counts is what you and your truck are genuinely made of. I grew up around trucks. My father drove a truck. My grandfather drove a truck before him. And the thing I remember most about those men and those machines was not the horsepower or the payload capacity. It was the way they talked about their trucks like they were partners. Like something real existed between a man and the machine he trusted to take him through difficult country. I thought about that this morning when I pulled up to this mountain trail and saw these two trucks sitting there in the early light. The glacier white Nissan Frontier Pro-4X on the left, looking lean and purposeful and quietly confident. The flame red Ram 1500 TRX on the right, looking like something that was built to intimidate mountains rather than navigate them. Two completely different philosophies. Two completely different personalities. And one trail that was about to reveal everything honest about both of them. Before we go anywhere, let me tell you what we are actually comparing here, because context is everything, and the context of this particular comparison is genuinely fascinating. The Nissan Frontier has been a part of the truck world for a long time. It has been through generations of refinement, and the current version with the Pro-4X package represents the most serious off-road interpretation of the Frontier nameplate that Nissan has ever produced. When you look at it, you see a truck that has thought carefully about what it needs to be. The Bilstein shock absorbers front and rear are not standard equipment on most trucks at this price point. They are a statement. They are Nissan saying that this truck is not going to apologize for being taken somewhere difficult. The all-terrain tires wrapped around those wheels are chosen specifically for the kind of mixed terrain that real off-road trails present, not just highway grip with a slightly more aggressive pattern, but genuine multi-surface capability that you can feel the moment you leave the pavement behind. The skid plates underneath protect the fuel tank and the transfer case and the front differential from the kind of rock strikes that happen without warning on serious mountain trails, and they do it without adding so much weight that the truck loses the agility that makes it special. And then there is the Ram 1500 TRX. And I have to be careful here, because it is very easy when talking about the TRX to run out of superlatives before you have finished describing what it actually is. This truck was built as a direct challenge to the best performance trucks in the desert racing world. The suspension travel on the TRX measures in inches that sound more appropriate for a dedicated race vehicle than a production truck you can walk into a dealership and purchase. The Fox Racing shocks that come standard on this machine are the same family of components that desert racing teams pay enormous amounts of money to have on their competition vehicles. The wide body stance, the massive extended fender flares, the enormous 35-inch tires sitting underneath them, all of it exists for a functional purpose. That width and those tires allow the TRX to absorb high-speed off-road impacts that would send a narrower, lighter truck into serious mechanical distress. This is a truck that was engineered to be driven fast in places where most vehicles cannot be driven at all. We started the day with rock crawling, and I want to be honest about what happened, because the result was not what I expected going in. The Frontier Pro-4X in its element on that first technical rock section was a genuinely beautiful thing to watch and to drive. The shorter wheelbase meant it could pivot and position itself with a precision that a longer truck simply cannot replicate on tight switchback trail sections. The low-range transfer case dropped the gearing down to the point where you could balance the truck on individual rocks at a walking pace without touching the brake, purely on engine braking and throttle control. The steering communicated every texture of the terrain beneath the front tires, and that communication built a confidence in me as a driver that had me attempting lines I might have hesitated on in a less connected truck. There is something about a truck that talks to you through the wheel and the seat, that shares information with you rather than filtering it all away in the name of comfort, that makes you a better driver rather than a more passive one. The TRX on the same rock section was a completely different conversation. Where the Frontier was a precise instrument, the TRX was a force of nature. The suspension articulation on this truck on rough rocks is something you have to see in person to fully appreciate. The way it can keep three wheels planted on uneven surfaces while the fourth reaches down into a gap that would high center most trucks is extraordinary. The weight of the TRX, which is considerable, actually worked in its favor on the rougher surfaces because the momentum kept the truck moving through sections where a lighter vehicle might have spun a tire and lost traction. But on the narrowest switchback sections, that weight and that wide stance asked hard questions. The TRX is a truck that rewards open terrain and high commitment, and it was honest about that on the tightest parts of the trail. The mud section came next, and this is where the day got genuinely wild. I am talking about deep trail mud. The kind that has been sitting in a low depression on a north-facing slope where the sun barely reaches and the ground just stays saturated in black and bottomless looking. The kind of mud that has eaten trucks before and is not embarrassed about it. The Frontier hit that section first, and the Pro-4X system engaged completely, and the truck just pushed. Not gracefully. Not cleanly. With noise and effort and determination. Mud erupted from every wheel well. The truck rocked side to side through the ruts. The engine worked hard and the tires bit and clawed, and the Frontier came out the other side looking like it had been through something real and wearing that evidence with a kind of blue-collar pride that made me genuinely happy. There is something about a white truck absolutely covered in brown mountain mud that feels earned in a way that nothing else can replicate. Then the TRX went through that same mud section, and the difference in approach was the difference between a precision surgeon and a demolition expert. The TRX did not negotiate with the mud. It did not feel its way through or pick careful lines. It simply applied enormous power to enormous tires and committed completely, and the result was a spectacle that I will remember for a long time. The mud did not spray from the TRX, it erupted. It flew in sheets and waves, and the truck carved through that section with a violence and a confidence that made it look easy in a way that was both impressive and slightly terrifying. Both trucks made it through. But they told two completely different stories about how they got there, and both stories were worth hearing. The river crossing taught me something unexpected about the TRX. Because on the approach to that rocky mountain stream, the TRX suddenly became more measured, more careful, more deliberate than it had been anywhere else on the trail. This truck knows what it is good at, and high-speed water crossings with rocks underneath are a situation that demands respect from any machine regardless of how capable it is. The Frontier crossed that river with a steadiness and a groundedness that felt completely natural, like it had done this 1,000 times and would do it 1,000 more. The water level was significant and the rocks underneath were uneven, and the Frontier just moved through it with a reliability that felt almost boring until you realized that boring in a river crossing is actually the highest possible compliment. The hill climbs in the afternoon were the section of the day that affected me most personally. Because hill climbs on loose dirt with side slopes and limited visibility are the situations that test a driver's trust in their vehicle most completely. You cannot see what is over the crest. You cannot always see where your tires are landing. You are trusting the machine underneath you to find grip and maintain it and not let physics win. The Frontier climbed every hill we pointed it at. Not always easily. Not always without drama. But it climbed. The four-wheel drive held. The tires found grip in the loose dirt. And that sense of trust, of the truck doing its job so that I could do mine, was something that stayed with me all day. The TRX climbed the same hills with more power and more suspension travel and more mechanical advantage, and it made them look easier than they were, and that too is a form of trust, just expressed differently. What I want you to understand about both of these trucks is something that the comparison numbers will never fully capture. The Nissan Frontier Pro-4X is a truck that will change the way you use your weekends. It is priced within reach of real people who work real jobs and dream about real mountains. It is sized to go places that larger trucks have to pass by with regret. It is built with a reliability and a simplicity that means the adventure starts when you leave the driveway and not when you get back from the dealership's service department. If you have been on the fence about buying a truck that you will actually take off-road, the Frontier Pro-4X is the truck that will take your excuses away one by one until you have no reason left not to go. The Ram 1500 TRX is something else entirely. It is the truck for the person who looked at every other option in the market and decided that capable was not enough, that they wanted extraordinary. It is the truck that makes professional desert racers look at it with genuine respect. It is the truck that covers ground at off-road speeds that feel completely impossible for its size and yet are completely real and completely controlled. It costs more. It drinks more fuel. It demands more commitment from the person behind the wheel. And it rewards that commitment with an off-road experience that sits in a category that almost nothing else in the production truck world can reach. Standing here between these two machines as the mountain light goes golden and the air gets that cold evening edge to it, I feel what I always feel at the end of a day like this. Grateful. Genuinely and simply grateful that trucks like these exist. That someone somewhere sat down and decided to build something that could take a person to the places that cannot be reached any other way. My father drove a truck because he had to. I drive a truck because it is the only thing that takes me where I actually want to go. And today both of these trucks took me somewhere worth going. Both of them earned every bit of trust one gave them. And both of them will carry the story of this mountain trail in their metal and their mud for as long as they exist. That is what a real truck does. It carries your stories. It earns its scars. And it takes you home. Scroll down. I prefer this untangling the imagination, GPT Image 1 Mini.